Hello future warriors and welcome back to SSB Crack Exams. A very good morning to each and every one of you. I am Heyman and I'm back here again to discuss with you about another interesting session regarding the current affairs from the dates of 8th to 11th of January 2021. So in this particular section, I will be discussing about all the most important updates and inputs regarding all of these 4 important days. So please stay tuned with us and make sure that you're noting down all the important points, and you can even take break if in case this session seems to be a little bit long for you, right? So before beginning, every time as I always introduce you that SSB Crack Exams is India's largest, most preferred online defense exams preparation portal. If in case you're preparing for the upcoming defense examinations like NDA, CDS, AFCAT, INET, Territorial Army, Indian Air Force, Airman Group X, Group Y, also the Central Armed Police Forces Assistant Commandant's examination, also the Military Nursing Service or the Army Cadet College examinations, I highly recommend you to download the Android app from Google Play Store. You can even go through our website learn.ssbcrackexams.com and subscribe yourself to your favorite course and start off with your preparation, wherein which we are providing you the complete detailed lecture content, study material, sample practice questions, quizzes, exercises, mock tests and all that are taking into consideration of the latest exam patterns. You can even follow us on all sort of social media platforms to keep yourself updated with the most important Indian and international related inputs. Starting off with the question of the day that I've asked on 6th of January 2021, and the question that I asked was, how many countries are there in the European Union? I repeat, how many countries are there in the European Union? Is it option A 25 or option B 27 or option C 39 or option D 34? The correct answer for this particular one is option B 27. Most of you have given a correct answer and I'm very happy for that. And those countries include Ireland, Portugal, Spain, France, Luxembourg, Belgium, Netherlands, Germany, Denmark, Sweden, Finland, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, Slovakia, Hungary, Romania, Bulgaria, Cyprus, Greece, Malta, Croatia, Italy, Slovenia, Austria and Czech Republic. These are the 27 most important countries that are there in the European Union. Now let us little bit have an understanding about what is actually the European Union, sir, right? European Union is a political and economic union of 27 member states that are located primarily in Europe. Right? Now, does each and every particular country in European Union have euro as their currency? No, sir. Only 19 out of 27 EU countries have their currency as euro. Understanding? So these countries in the European Union that utilize euro as their currency, those countries are collectively known as the Eurozone. Remember this term, it is known as what? Eurozone, remember. And EU has developed an initial internal single market through a standardized system of laws that apply in all member states in those matters, and only those matters where members have agreed to act as one. That means there are some kind of free trade agreements and there will be a free movement without even having any kind of documentation checking if in case you belong to any particular member of the European Union. So they all will go hand in hand. This is what they have discussed. And they have also said that their policies aim to ensure free movement of people, goods, services and capital within the internal market. Understanding the term internal market means the market that is located inside the European Union. European Union and European citizenship were established in the Maastricht Treaty that came into force in 1993. This treaty can come, this name can come for you in the upcoming examination. If in case you people are not aware of this particular treaty, remember about that particular one, right? So a country, if in case any particular country wishes to join into the European Union, it will have to submit a membership application to the EU Council, and then they will ask the Commission to assess the applicant's ability to meet the Copenhagen criteria. Now, inside the Copenhagen criteria, there are around 32 to 37 most important criteria. So, if in case a country meets all of them, only then it will be taken into consideration to become a member of the European Union. Until now, very rarely few countries, since the last decade, no country has been joined into the European Union. So we need to understand that a commission's opinion is positive. If in case their opinion is positive, only then the council must then agree upon negotiating a mandate, right? Negotiations are then formally opened on a subject by subject basis. Going through. Now let us start off with the first and foremost important current affairs information, that is regarding 25th Amendment of the United States Constitution, sir. United States Constitution has had recently the 25th Amendment to it, and this amendment had laid down how a United States President or a Vice President can be replaced or succeeded. Remember, so this particular new law has come into existence regarding the President and the Vice President of the United States. When can they be replaced or succeeded? right? So what does this amendment say? Actually, there are 4 different clauses in this amendment. They are not very important for us to study, but we, as far as this important information is concerned, I'm going to give you this whole information in a short and very crisp form. So it includes to resolve the issues revolving around unfortunate situations like death, resignation to a removal of US president, and actions to be taken after a president becomes disabled to such a degree that is unable to fulfill his responsibilities, right? So this important amendment says that whenever a president, that means one particular president, whenever he is resigned, or whenever he has appeared to a death, or whenever there becomes a position where the Congress will approve that a president has to be completely impeached, or whenever a president has been declared that is completely unable to fulfill his responsibilities, then at that time immediately the vice president will be taken over as the acting president, and then the situations will move forward like that. So actually this kind of amendment was not the new one. It was actually proposed in 1965 and was ratified by the states in 1967, and later on it has been approved recently in this particular year, few days back. That's it regarding this particular one. Now going through with the next most important update is regarding the food price index of the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations. This FAO, it calculates the food price index, sir. And how is this FPI actually measured, sir? It is measured taking into consideration the monthly changes of a basket of oil seeds, cereals, meat, daily products, and sugar. So these food prices of all major categories are increased for the 7th consecutive month barring sugar. As far as the year of 2020, that means the last year is concerned, food price index was declared to be 97.9 points. Remember, what is it? 97.9 point. And this is a 3-year high and 3.1% increase as compared to that in the year of 2019. Those candidates who are preparing for the combined defense officers examination, for them these numbers are very important, sir. Right? Most of the people will ignore these numbers, but it is very important that you remember these. So it is actually for the year of 2020, what? Food price index was 97.9 point. This is a 3-year high, and it is a 3.1 increase as compared to that of the 2019. That means in 2019 it was 3.1% less when compared to the 97.9% of the year of 2020. Right? Going through with the next update is regarding a committee has been formed for the protection of Ladakh's land, culture, and language. Right? A special committee has been formed to completely secure and safeguard the protection and the rights of the land, the culture of the Ladakh, and the language of the Ladakh, like Ladakhi or various other languages that are located in all of those areas. So this particular committee has been formed by the parliament, and the committee is going to be headed by the Minister of State for Home Affairs, Shri G. Kishan Reddy. Okay, Kishan Reddy will be heading this particular committee to completely safeguard the protection of the Ladakh's land, culture, and language. And the concerns have also been raised actually to include this particular union territory in the 6th schedule. Right? So the demand is still going on, and all of those negotiations are still under progress. So more than 90% of Ladakh population is what? It is tribal. Right? So Ladakh is a completely tribal union territory, and more than 90% of it is tribal one, and including Ladakh in the 6th schedule will help to enhance the transfer of funds for the speedy development of the region, which is also an appreciable one that we have to see, and still the discussions are going on. We hope that Ladakh will soon be included, but however the situations are going on, they are still under consideration. Going through with the next update is regarding India's first double stack long haul container train has been launched, has been flagged off few days back, and this has been there done on the first 360-kilometer long. And from where to where does this thing happen, sir? There are actually 2 important trains. One train will be from New Ateli in Haryana to New Kishanganj in Rajasthan. So it will be going through the Rewar Madar section of the western dedicated freight corridor. What is a double stack? You can see here in a long back. Okay, so double stack is that particular one. See, that means the stacks are kept one above the other like this. You can see in this particular picture. So it is a double stack kind of rail, and this is the first time that Indian Railways is following this particular procedure. With this, what will happen, sir? Soon we are going to have a lot of important business, and having a double stack will also improve the business, and it will also improve more number of different kinds of situations where the products and the freight will be transferred from one place to another. So this train is around 1.5 kilometer long, and it is hauled by electric traction. It's so big. Okay, 1.5 kilometers means it's very big train, and we need to understand that these freight trains actually they are operated at a maximum speed of 75 kilometers per hour, and and the speed is to be increased to 100 kilometers per hour, right? Depending upon the weight that this train will carry, and as of now the train speed will be around 75 kmph, but now they are still thinking to increase these trains to have been gone through up to 100 kilometer per hour. And Indian Railways operated actually a mission known as Mission Shigra, and under this particular mission the trains attained a maximum permissible speed of 100 kilometers per hour, right? This is the new Ateli train and this is new Kishangarh train, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi has flagged off these trains on a virtual mode. Going through with the next update is regarding Japan has been thinking to launch a completely world's first wood-based satellite, sir. Okay, so this is appreciable one that we need to see, because we also have, and if satellites based on wood will increase, what will happen automatically? To build these satellites, there might be a situation where the trees will also be increasing, so it's a environmentally good one. So Japan's Sumitomo Forestry Company and Kyoto University, both of them have been joining hands in hands to launch the world's first wood-based space satellite, and they are also working on to provide and develop wooden materials that are extremely resistant to temperature changes and sunlight. So this is the combats and space debris. And why did they think about doing this, sir? Because the space debris is very, very dangerous and it is increasing day by day, and all of these is going on at a speed of more than 22,300 miles per hour. These space debris can carry, and whenever they are entering into our Earth's atmosphere, as far as Takao Doi, who's a Japanese astronaut, he said that when they enter into the atmosphere, all of them will get deteriorated into pieces and they all will release tiny alumina particles which are really harmful for the atmosphere. And building up a wooden based satellite will always be environmentally friendly, and the studies are still going on regarding developing the wooden materials that are extremely resistant to the temperature changes and sunlight. So this is very, very important. So which is that particular country? It is Japan. Right. Going through with the next important update is regarding the Shivalik Mercantile Cooperative Bank Limited. This particular small finance bank, it has received a license from the RBI to become the first small finance bank under the voluntary transition scheme, sir. Right. This is the first and largest multi-state urban cooperative bank in Uttar Pradesh, and it has been at the forefront of financial inclusion through a technology-focused approach. So this is the first urban cooperative bank in India to receive a commercial banking license as a what? As a small finance bank under the voluntary transition scheme. So who the MD and CEO of Shivalik Mercantile Cooperative Bank is? Suvir Kumar Gupta. This can also be remembered for those people who find it very, very important. Going through with the next most important update is regarding sulfur dioxide emission norms have been delayed. This is regarding the Ministry of Power proposing to postpone the deadline of the coal-fired power plants to adopt a new emission standards. Actually, there is going to be a discussion wherein which new emission standards have to be set up by the Ministry of Power for all the coal-fired power plants, but this particular deadline has been postponed. And why was it postponed, sir? The Minister of Power has said that this is an unworkable time schedule and it will actually burden their utilities, and there will be a cause of rise in the power tariffs, and also they have postponed it. And India has actually initially set a 2070 deadline for thermal power plants to comply with emission standards for installing flue gas desulfurization devices. Like, what are those known as, sir? FGD devices, also known as the flue gas desulfurization devices. What will they do, sir? As the name suggests, desulfurization, they will be utilized to reduce the toxic sulfur dioxide emissions. Okay, and removal of sulfur dioxide, that particular process is known as what? Flue gas desulfurization. Right. Going through with the next update is regarding the foundation stone has been laid for the new Anubhava Mandapa in Karnataka. What is actually Anubhava Mandapa, sir? Most of the people, this is a very, very important update for the people living in the state of Karnataka and the Kannadigas. So Anubhava Mandapa is actually that kind of known as the first religious parliament in the world. Right, first religious parliament in the world is what it is, Anubhava Mandapa. So its literal meaning, when you translate it, it means that experience pavilion. Anubhava means experience and Mandapa means pavilion. Right, it was an academy of mystics, saints, philosophers of the Lingayat faith in 12th century, and it was fountainhead of all religious and philosophical thought pertaining to the Lingayats. We need to understand that the building will this particular new building is going to be built up actually long back. It was actually a kind of very, very important one. and Karnatakas will be very proud of it because this building will adopt the Kalyana Chalukya architectural style. Basavanna was a very famous personality in the Karnataka's history, and we need to understand that he was a person who actually kind of built the first Anubhava Mandapa, and now taking into the considerations and footsteps followed by Basavanna, he is actually a social conscious personality, and through his poems he wrote vachanas, and it is Anubhava Mandapa is also called as Mahamane, and actually this particular one Mandapa, it is actually used and it works to build a vibrant, casteless, creedless society with full of human values propagated through vachanas that are written by Basavanna. Going through with the next update is regarding the conflict over Nile regarding the Great Renaissance Dam. Great Renaissance Dam is going to be built in the country of Ethiopia, sir. Okay, it is going to be built in the country of Ethiopia. And why is this very, very important, sir? Because here you can see the dam is somewhere here in Ethiopia, and when the river of the Nile it origins, the Blue Nile it origins in Ethiopia itself. And if you build a dam, what happens? It will create problems for the country of Sudan and Egypt as far as the countries are concerned. They are claiming like that. So if you go through the textual matters, we need to understand that river Nile, it is the longest river in Africa. It is in the middle of the decade-long complex dispute involving multiple countries that believe the river waters. Ethiopia, Sudan, and Egypt recently agreed to resume negotiations to resolve a decade-long complex dispute over this Great Renaissance Dam in the Horn of Africa. We need to understand that this dam is it is a hydropower project initiated by Ethiopia, and it is 145-meter long, and this has become the cause of the conflict. And initiations have been going on. There have been discussions since decades long, and now they are still thinking to again resume those negotiations and then come to a final conclusion. Given the dam's location of the Blue Nile territory, it might allow Ethiopia to realize the control of the flow of the river's waters. What happens is, if the Ethiopia builds the dam, then what happens? It can have the power to control the water supply to other countries. So this has become a very, very big concern for the other two countries. Right, and the upcoming details regarding this particular one of the complete session regarding this I will be giving you in the coming up session, so please stay tuned with me. And that is it regarding all the most important current affairs for now. Let us now have a very quick review by going through some of the most important questions. And the first and foremost question is, which country's 25th constitutional amendment has been laid out recently? Is it Pakistan, Japan, India, or USA? The correct answer for that particular one is United States of America. Right, under the presidency of Donald Trump, the government of the USA has recently had its 25th constitutional amendment. Going through with the next question is, for the year of 2020, the food price index was how many points? It was option A, 97.9 points. Right, going through with the next question is, the government of India recently formed a committee to protect the land, language, culture of Ladakh. Who is the head of that particular committee? He is Minister of State for Home Affairs, Shri G. Kishan Reddy. Going through with the next question, what is the length of India's first double stack long haul container train? It is around 1.5 kilometers long, sir. Which country is going to launch world's first wood-based satellite? Is it USA, India, China, or Japan? So it is Japan. Japan's Kyoto University is going on hands in hands with another very recently forestry complex, and the studies are still going on to develop the wood-based satellite, wherein which they are going to build up a wood that is extremely resistant to the temperatures and the sun's atmosphere. Going through with the next question is, which bank has recently become the first urban cooperative bank to receive license from RBI as a small finance bank under voluntary transition scheme? Is it Karnataka Bank, or Dena Bank, or Yes Bank, or Shivalik Bank? The correct answer for that particular one is Shivalik Cooperative Bank. Going through with the next question is, the Ministry of Power has proposed to postpone the deadline for which power plants to adopt the new emission standards? Is it coal-fired power plants, or hydroelectric power plants, or diesel-fired power plants, or solar power plants? The correct answer for that particular one is option A, coal-fired power plants. And the next question, in which state the foundation stone has been laid for the new Anubhava Mandapa? The correct answer for that particular one is option D, Karnataka. And over which river the Great Renaissance Dam is being built? Is it Chambal, or Brahmaputra, or Nile, or Ganga? The correct answer for that particular one is Nile. Okay, Great Renaissance Dam is going to be built in Ethiopia on the Nile River. And let us now have a very, very important question of the day that you people are waiting for. And the question of the day for today is this particular one: India's first pollinator park has been inaugurated in which state? I repeat, India's first pollinator park has been inaugurated in which state? Is it Uttarakhand, or Sikkim, or Assam, or Bihar? the answer for this particular question and the details regarding this I will be giving you in the next session. And if in case you people are following off the daily current affairs, I've already given up a detailed update regarding the India's first pollinator park, so you can even go through the previous important current affairs to get the answer for this particular one. So please go through with that and answer this particular question in a very detailed and proper way. Answer in the comment section, and I hope that you people are doing very well, and I hope that your examination preparation is going very well. Okay, so stay tuned with us, subscribe to this channel, download the Android app from Google Play Store. Always stay safe, stay healthy, keep smiling, be confident. Jai Hind.